Bush herself stands in that, who would know? Obviously she enjoyed the whole thing very much, but with this song she's right in there, and as a teenage girl, as now I'm sure, she's a very sensual, sexual person, and the two words go together in connection with Kate Bush just all the time. You've got to say both of those things, or know both of those things about her. That's where a lot of her inspiration and her power flows from, is from being a sensual person and enjoying being a sensual person and feeling that that's a force for good in the world. It's as big as that to her. I think she cares about it that much. And of course it's an element of love, but in the way she writes, and in that song it applies too, it's the sensual heart of it.
That side of women's sexuality hadn't really been acknowledged or expressed because the 70s, even though there was a sort of real strong feminist movement, I think that hadn't penetrated into the mainstream, and I think people still thought along tram lines when it came to the sexes and what men were supposed to feel and women were supposed to feel. So Kate sort of really dodged around all that and came out with something that was quite daring.
Kate Bush's debut album, The Kick Inside, was released on the 17th of February 1978. Despite her young age, the record is a remarkably mature and sophisticated piece of work.
I think the best comment I ever read about the first album, The Kick Inside, that somebody described her as a cross between Lindsay DePaul and Angela Carter, the feminist novelist. And I thought that's absolutely brilliant, because that really does sum up the two things that are going on that record. You know, she is this pop princess. She's not quite Lindsay DePaul, but, you know, I mean, you can see where that's coming from. And then a song like The Kick Inside itself, which is, you know, this dark, dark song, effectively this suicide note from a girl who's carrying the child of her own brother. You know, and then there are other songs on the album about period pains and all kinds of subjects that very few people could ever imagine writing about in a pop song. And that's quite a special combination, and I think made it a unique debut album, and also contributed to this thing of really not knowing quite what she was. You know, was she pop? Was she rock? She was Kate Bush.
The astounding success of her first album confirmed Kate's celebrity status, an aspect of her career that she would become increasingly less comfortable with over the years.
You see, famous is one of those words, isn't it? It's so creative, because I think artists shouldn't be made famous. You know, they're just as important as doctors and priests. You know, maybe not as important sometimes.
While The Man with the Child in His Eyes was still climbing the charts, Kate made preparations to record her second album, Lionheart. The LP was released on the 13th of November, making 1978 the most productive year of her career.
I spent a lot of my time looking at blue, the color of my room and my moon, blue on the walls, blue out of my mind, sort of blue between clouds when the sun comes out, sort of blue in those eyes you get hung up about.
The way that I see Lionheart is it was quite simply a continuation of The Kick Inside. I don't think at that stage she was under pressure to duplicate The Kick Inside. I think she just couldn't. I mean, she had a backlog of songs anyway that she'd been writing for years. And I think this was just a continuation of The Kick Inside.
I do feel that the second album suffered just a little because of me not having enough time in between to really write and produce new stuff and really sort out the old stuff.
The rushed release of the record has often been blamed for what some perceive as Kate's weakest album. Despite these criticisms, Lionheart does contain some truly remarkable material. The first single to be released from Lionheart was the extremely theatrical Hammer Horror, which, in contrast to its predecessors, was not such a chart success. However, the second single from the record, Wow, proved to be a far more popular release.
Ooh, yeah, you're amazing. We think you're incredible. You say we're fantastic, but still we don't hit the beat.
Wow, I think it's the sort of ultimate in loveydom, really. It's a song about the stage and eulogising the stage and the glory and the loneliness of being an actor. And sort of, in a sense, again, quite typical of Kate Bush in that it's fairly complex because it's talking about the isolation of being a performer at the same time as the wonder of it and the wonder of attracting a crowd.
And so it's this whole feeling of the showbiz world, and maybe it also starts to reflect on what she'd started to experience over the previous years of her kind of apprenticeship and then her entry into the full public eye, about the good and the bad of it. Everyone's tremendous enthusiasm. Oh, this is, as they say now, this is so exciting. Exciting is the word of that now. But she picked up on Wow, and she sort of, she's taken the mickey out of herself as well. She was quite famous at the time and rather mocked for saying wow a lot in a sort of post-hippie way. But there she's using it in the song, and it's in this showbiz way. Oh, we must all enthuse about everything. And oh, and that was rude as well, wasn't it? There's that line about the guy hitting the Vaseline, and in the video, just in case you didn't get the point, she pats her bum at that point. So that's what we're talking about.